So, welcome back. We're still talking about the development of the oral cavity, and now we are talking about the stages of tooth development. We saw these stages briefly in the previous section, and now we'll take up these stages in detail. So, the stages are the dental lamina and bud stage, then we have cap and bell stage, and finally the apposition stage. So, first of all, the dental lamina stage. So we talked about it before. The ectoderm which overlies the alveolar process, it undergoes thickening. The thickening of this ectoderm causes penetration of this ectoderm into the underlying mesenchyme. This penetrating ectoderm is known as the dental lamina. So let's see the ectodermal epithelium which overlies the upper convex border of the alveolar process, it becomes thickened. It projects into the underlying mesoderm and now forms the dental lamina. The dental lamina is also U-shaped. Here you can see this is the dental lamina. It is U-shaped. So now moving on to the second stage, which is known as the bud stage. So here you can see in the figure, the dental lamina assumes the shape of the bud and tries to communicate with the mass of mesenchyme which surrounds it. So let's see what happens. So the dental lamina now proliferates at 10 sites to produce local swellings which are known as tooth buds. So dental lamina now undergoes a proliferation at 10 different sites to form local swellings. These local swellings are known as the tooth buds. They grow into the underlying mesenchyme. Here you can see they're growing into the underlying mesenchyme. 10 enamel organs first form the 20 deciduous teeth and later form the permanent teeth. So these are the originators or the precursors of the 20 deciduous or the milk teeth, and finally they help in the formation of the permanent teeth as well. Now cap stage, this tooth bud, here you can see it assumes the shape of the cap and the dental papilla, which was actually the communicating mesenchymal area. It is incorporated or is being now being incorporated into the cap. So let's see the mass of the underlying neural crest mesenchyme, it invaginates the tooth bud or the enamel organ. Now the enamel organ becomes cap shape. Here you can see this is the cap shape enamel organ, and these are the neural crest. This is the neural crest mesenchyme that is being incorporated into this enamel organ. Now the mass of the mesenchyme that invaginates the tooth bud is known as the dental papilla. So this mass of mesenchyme which is invaginating into the enamel organ is known as the dental papilla. Now we have the bell stage. So enamel organ, it differentiates into an outer layer. So this was the enamel organ. It differentiates into outer layer of enamel epithelium. Then we have the enamel reticulum in the middle, and we have the inner layer of the enamel epithelium. Now cells of the enamel organ, they become columnar and are known as the amyloblasts. These cells become columnar and they are known as amyloblasts. Now amyloblasts are responsible for the production of gums. Now the mesodermal cells of the dental papilla, these lie here in this area. Adjacent to the ameloblast, they arrange themselves as a continuous epithelial layer which is known as odontoblasts. So these cells that lie in the area of the mesoderm of the dental papilla, and they are adjacent to the ameloblast, they arrange themselves to form the odontoblasts. Now let's see the ameloblast, it gives rise to the enamel. So the enamel is formed by the ameloblast. This is the outer enamel, this is the inner enamel. Now odontoblast, it gives rise to the dental pulp and the dentine. So here you can see this is the dental pulp which is formed by the odontoblast. So initially it is like this. This is the outer enamel epithelium. This is the inner enamel epithelium. Now the outer and inner epithelium, enamel epithelium, are separated by the mesenchyme that surrounds the tooth. It condenses to form a dental sac. This dental sac is the primordium of the cementum and the periodontal ligaments. So let's see how that develop. So apposition stage is the last stage. So in this stage there is formation of enamel and dentin. So this is enamel in orange and this is dentin in green. So these two layers are formed in the apposition stage. So there are long presence of dentin over the enamel. So there are long presence of dentin over the enamel. Here you can see that. The amount of enamel increases and ameloblasts start disappearing and move towards the outer enamel epithelium. So the outer layer of the enamel epithelium, it is where the ameloblasts tend to migrate, and the amount of enamel, it also increases. Now, the ameloblasts, they regress, leaving only a thin membrane which is known as the dental cuticle. So the dental cuticle is formed by the regressing ameloblasts and they give rise to, this is only a thin membrane. Now the dentine, it thickens the cell bodies of odontoblasts but regresses the cytoplasmic odontoblastic processes which remain embedded. So the cell bodies are thickened but the cytoplasmic processes, they remain embedded. Now moving on, there is development of the root of the tooth as well. So the root of the tooth is being developed. Now the outer and the inner enamel. So the outer enamel and the inner enamel, they come together at the neck of the hair, in this region. They come together at the neck of the tooth, forming the Hertwig's epithelial root sheath. So the root sheath is not shown in the figure. However, it is formed at the level of neck of the developing tooth by coming together of the outer and the inner enamel. So moving on, now the pulp cavity. This was the pulp cavity. It narrows to form a pulp canal. Here you can see the pulp cavity has narrowed to form pulp canal. The inner cells of the dental sac, they differentiate into the cementoblast. So the inner cells of the dental sac, here you can see in purple, they differentiate into cementoblast to form the cementum. And the mesenchymal cells that lie outside the cement, these form the periodontal ligaments in green. So these in green are the periodontal ligaments which are formed by the mesenchymal cells that lie outside the cement. Now crown of the tooth. This is the crown of the tooth. It is being pushed through the overlying tissue of the alveolus into the oral cavity, and this is how a tooth ruptures and emerges out. So this was all about this section. In this section we discussed 5 different stages of development of tooth. These were the bud stage, the cap stage, the bell stage, the apposition stage, and the stage in between. So we saw how these stages, how the tooth went through all these stages, what was the importance of these stages, and how the developmental process actually took place. It is important to understand these stages because they help in understanding the development of tooth and how various structures develop and help in the formation of adult as well as the permanent teeth. For further sections, keep watching sqadia.com.